Greetings from Bangkok, Thailand, and welcome to 30 Minutes Promoting Unity in Diversity with Wani Angerer in Moving Cultures. We are so happy to have with us an amazing guest who is a reference of cultures, intercultural exchange, and exchange of knowledges, and also a person who understands the transformative power of the arts in society and also at the individual level. She's a lecturer, she's a music therapist, she's an ethnomusicologist. She has so many hats that she's using in order to create personal awareness and collective awareness. And she is our guest number 255. She comes from Thailand and her name is Paphutsorn Koong Wongratanapitak. And we're going to give her a warm virtual embrace and a warm welcome to this conversation. Welcome, Paphutsorn. How are you?
I'm very good. Yes, I'm very good. Yes, thank you very much also for inviting me to be here with you on your program.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to talk about your life, your journey, your experiences that are very important to be told in order to motivate and inspire other people, Paphutsorn. So the first question is, who is Paphutsorn?
Oh, okay. So let me introduce myself a bit then. My name is Paphutsorn Wongratanapitak, but usually people know me as Koong. This is like my nickname. I think you may know that it's very common for Thai people to have the nickname. So Koong is my nickname. And I graduated my bachelor degree in Thai classical music. And after that, I got the scholarship from the University of London to continue my studies in ethnomusicology. So I did my master degree and PhD at the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London. So that's my educational background. And after I graduated, I moved out. I moved to Singapore. I was a lecturer at the National University of Singapore for a few years. And during that time, I saw many opportunities, not only to be a lecturer. Usually, people will think that once you have a PhD, you have to be a lecturer only, or you have to work at the university only. But in Singapore, it's only definitely opened my eyes. I can work on many other things, not just a lecturer at the university. So I started my own company, Absolutely Thai, in Singapore. And I did a lot of cultural promotions. So I'm traveling around the country to promote Thai cultures, organize the workshops, organize the concerts, working with different universities, different government agencies. And after that, I started another company in Thailand, which is calledการแสดงวัฒนธรรม. So the word การแสดงวัฒนธรรม, it means cultural performing arts. It's very straight meaning what my company is doing. So in Thailand, the same thing. I work for many universities. I work for many organizations that help to organize cultural workshops, cultural festivals, and like various cultural activities. Yeah, that's what my company did and doing. And this is my 14 years of the company. Yeah.
Congratulations. It's so amazing to see how your consultancy work, because we're talking practically about being a consultant in arts and culture. You know, it's a very innovative approach to deal with business and the cultural content. Tell me, how do you came about this concept?
I have to say first that I'm very lucky that I grew up in my family that they all like do their own business. No one work like full time under the companies or under the government agencies. My family, they have their own business. So I grew up in this kind of like family background. So it's always my dream that I wanted to have my own business as well one day that I'm ready. And also, we always heard that when you study about music, when you study about Thai classical dance, Thai classical music, it's very difficult to find a job. But they never be taught that you can create your own job. You don't have to wait for the opportunities to come, but you can create your own opportunities. So for me, it's like one of the very first company that deal with the cultural performing arts, like commercially, professionally. And I use all my experiences to teach my students also that you can complain, but at the same time, you can create your own opportunity as well. You make yourself unique. You find the strong points of yourself and then sell your uniqueness to the market. That's how I gain the experience and then give back to the education, like teach the students to be unique item, not the factory made item. Yeah.
It's fantastic that you're actually being very grounded and being inspired by your family, and also clearly understood that the education, those three pillars needed to be together in order to create this concept. And now you are becoming an inspiration and a role model for different people who is in the creative sector that only focus on the performing and the interpretation side of it. And because of the lack of exposure, on the lack of understanding that everyday business is not only about issues that are practical, is actually very much applied into the creative sector. But this is very new, Paphutsorn, because not many institutions give the value to the creative sector in order to be properly established in the business sector. But now let's talk a little bit about that specific element that is business and how you fit not only the educational sector, but also the private sector. Because usually they need to translate their business into art. You know, you need to have visual exhibitions and music and dance, and also do crossover experiences that will give them the opportunities to launch their business globally. Let's talk about that.
For me, working with the private sectors, okay, I think when we are from different backgrounds, let's say like the educational institutions and also the companies, they have different mindsets, they have different way of expectations. So I have to understand both first, because for me, I work as I don't want to say a middle person, but I work as the creator that try to link the educational institutions to meet the requirements of the private sectors. And at the same time, I make the private sectors understand what we have to do and what we are trying to learn and trying to be able to survive in the reality. Because if we talk about educational institutions only, when we learn about arts and culture, we always rely on the government funding. So they don't really have to worry about finding money for their own projects or something. But at the same time, for the private sectors, it's more like commercial, it's more like the way that how much they pay, how much they expect to get back. So I think if the two parties understand on the same thing and ready to adjust and learn and adapt, they both will be happy. So for me, and also like for me, I not only be a middle person that work for the private sector, but I train the educational sectors also. For example, how to write a proposal in a professional way, not in the government way, right? A proposal, create the projects that can attract more public or more like people, not just like create the performance, but they don't care about the number of audience or something like that. So how to make it more like interesting, how to attract the audience, how to make it professional, to professional in terms like, let's say, the costume, the duration of the performance, how to manage the budget, because sometimes the government sector, right, if the money is not enough, they can apply more. But at the same time, for the private sector, if you propose this amount, you have to learn how to manage the amount. You cannot ask for more. So I think that the problems that I'm dealing with for the past 14 years and trying to make the government sector or the educational institutions understand like the mindset or what really happened outside when students go out, graduate, and they work in this kind of like industry. I think they understand more that this is like totally different from what they have been trained. This is like totally different from what they grew up with. Yeah.
You also have put together a very extensive and not easy festivals, like the ones that are related to the intercultural setting, crossover. Talk to us a little bit about that, Paphutsorn.
Okay, I really have to thank to my 6 years in England. When I studied at the University of London. So I started to have like many friends from different countries. I learned like not only the Thai music, but I learned like music of other cultures as well. So when the very first time that I came to this kind of like international intercultural festival, it's when I was in Singapore. I got a requirement like whether I can help them to design different kind of like performances from different continents. So I use all the knowledge that I study in ethnomusicology. I use all the connections that I have from England to put all this together. And I feel it's really fun. That's why I started my own company to do all this, because I know that not everyone know how to do it. Not in a commercial way, but also in the educational way with the right understanding of each culture. Because usually when we have like, let's say, event organizer, they do it without understanding the cultural context of different country. But I think the good things for me, I understand the culture of different country, so I know how to put it in the festival with the respect of each country. So I think that's benefit me the most to organize like the international festival, international culture. And when I have like the host that contact me, they want to organize this kind of events, they will tell me first like what kind of budget they have, like how much amount they have, and what are the expectations that they want from the festival. So I put all together, and then I will decide like what kind of like performing groups that I want to invite, or what kind of budget. Like sometimes we don't have enough budget from the host, so I have like good connections in different countries. I managed to ask for funding from those countries also to support the groups to come and perform, like either in Thailand, in Singapore, or in Indonesia. So this is why I'm different from other event organizer companies, because we decide the whole thing with understanding, and we also provide a workshop as well. So when people come to the festival, the performers come to the festival, they don't only come to perform, but they come to learn cultures of the others as well. So I think this is the very important thing, that they come not as a guest, not as a competitor, but come to make friends. Exactly. And we expand the connections. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Yes, and I had the experience to be in your festival in 2019, and it was very clear the intention behind. And the intention was about celebration of cultures. I was very attracted to it because it's very close to our concept in moving cultures, that is unity and diversity, and it's about exchanging experiences. And like you said earlier, it's about understanding the business side and understanding the story, from the sociological, anthropological perspective. Let's get some images in the screen so you can walk us through this and tell us a little bit about Phaputsorn, okay? In this photo, it is clearly that your essence is very much projected. It's like the flowers that represent Thailand, the bright colors, and of course a movement and a posture that is related to the dance. To the Thai dance concept. Okay, so now I know that you also play a very important role on music therapy, art therapy, and using the arts in order to create more inclusion and give a better quality of life to people. So can you please tell us about this journey?
Okay, for myself, I have two parts. One is like a business person that I talked earlier. And another part, I'm also like an educator, a practitioner. So I did workshop by myself. I also teach like in a number of subjects by myself at the universities. And this one is when I conducted we call angklung. Angklung is the Indonesian instruments, bamboo instruments from Indonesia. And I did it for disabled people and also the senior citizens. And tomorrow I'm going to have like workshop for the senior member as well. At the nursing home, so sorry. Yeah, it's like this one, the photo that you show is the angklung, and we conduct the workshop for Art for All Foundation. I have been doing it every year for more than 5 years already. Art for All is the foundation that includes all kinds of disabilities, blind, deaf, autism, Down syndrome, or like handicap, like cannot move hands, cannot move legs, that kind of like disabilities. And I'm trying to use angklung as a tool to make them enjoy the music, because usually once they are disabled, probably parents or even themselves will think that very difficult to play music because of their like disabilities. But this one, I'm using the hand sign, and everyone can play the music on the spot. Doesn't need to learn anything. Just look at the hand side. So for example, like the deaf, they feel like they cannot hear the music, so they don't think they can play the music. But once they follow my hand sign that I conduct in front of the ensemble, even though they don't hear the sound, but they can feel the happiness that they be part of the ensemble. And for the blind, I have like assistants to assist, like when it's the hand signs, like their turn to play the angklung. We have assistant to like give them the cue that this is the hands that it's time to play the angklung. And now together with Chulalongkorn University, we are creating a new device that can support the blind without any assistance. And it's not yet finalized, but it's on processing and also still under the experiment. Hopefully either end of this year or next year when it's ready, so we can use this innovation, the device, to assist the blind for this kind of activity as well. And for like the handicap, sometimes they have no arms, they can use their feet instead to check the angklung, or even like they have one hand. This kind of activity at Art for All is more like everyone coming together. So we always have like assistants sitting along together with like the members and assist them for the Angklung section. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, we have some more images
Yeah,
here.
you can see from the photos, like kids are on the wheelchair. Yeah, that's why they are handicapped. Yeah, or like blind, can't see. Yeah. Oh, this one. This is when I conduct, I have to say like my very first few experiences conducting the dance workshop online. So we learned a lot, we adjust a lot also, because doing it online is different from doing it like on site when you can show the movement, you can touch the student, like adjust their movements beautifully. But this one, everything is online. And the students were in Singapore and I'm in Thailand because it's during the lockdown. I couldn't fly to Singapore to conduct the workshops. But thanks to the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts that they still have trust on me. So they are okay for me to conduct the workshop online. So this is like the students in Singapore, they learned about the Thai classical dance and also the history of the Kingdom of Ayutthaya. And it's like the whole semester process, which means I meet them every week. And at the end of the semester, they will come out with their own project. They will design their own performances, their own artworks from what they have learned from me. Yeah, from the history, from the movement, because it's not only about the dance, but we also teach them, we call it Nang Yai, so the puppet shadow. That was like very well known during the Ayutthaya kingdom. Yeah. This one is after the ICTM that you went and that we met for the first time. I helped the Chulalongkorn University to organize, we call International Council for Traditional Music World Conference. And the organization itself is already like almost 80 years old. And they have been organizing the World Conference for 45 times. And we are like the 45th, that's before the, thanks to, I mean, like it's before the pandemic. So we are very lucky. And this one, because we are in the partnership with the Thai PBS TV channel, and we invited them to do the news, to observe like our whole events during the 7 days. And we give them like the certificate of appreciation for being a partnership. Yeah. And during the events, I really have to tell, I'm so proud myself for this one, because it's like the biggest that is ever organized, and it's the full function that it ever happened. Full function in these terms means the previous conference, they only organized like the academic presentation and the concert. Not every day, but a few days during the 7 days. But for me, I make it full function, which means we have cultural workshop every day and the whole day, morning, afternoon. There also like cultural presentation, like we many scholars that write article or did research about cultures come to present the paper. And at night, every day we have like cultural concerts from different parts of the world. And also we organize excursion. So we bring them around to different places that related to the cultures, to the performing arts all over Thailand. Yeah, like this one Nang Yai that I told you, like during the kingdom. Yeah, so we did online workshop. This is also like online workshop. Yeah. So I think during the first few months during the pandemic, right, we probably struggling how artists, how arts education can survive when everything is locked down. And once we learn how to adjust, we learn, I think it's basic human instinct that you need to survive anyway. So when we can adjust and people accept the new way of learning, So this is the outcome. Like
Exactly.
they're really happy also to learn online, and they are willing to pay attention to the activities. So I think doing it online, right? It can be very boring. It can be very interesting as well. So it depends on how you decide the program. So
Exactly.
I have learned for the past few months, and I know like the way to make it very interesting and to keep the student active for the whole duration of the activities. Yeah.
Okay, this is the instrument you were telling us about.
Correct. This is at the Indonesian embassy. Yeah. So I have been working very close with the Indonesian embassy in Thailand, and they are very supportive. So I organize every year Indonesian Performing Arts Festival. So this is from my own funding, as well as the funding from many government agencies in Indonesia.
Fantastic. And this is the altruistic part of the sharing of knowledge and also exchanging cultures in the country.
Correct. In other countries. This is with the Dean Paphutsorn Vincent. She's the Dean of Faculty of Fine Applied Arts, Chulalongkorn University. And she's more like my mentor since I was a student at year 1. So we have been together 20 years plus.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So she saw me like grew up. Yeah. And this is also the Thai workshop in Singapore. So every time, okay, I'm also the founder of the Thai Dance Society in Singapore. So every time I flew like to Singapore, I will always like find a chance to conduct workshops at different schools. This is like to promote Thai culture internationally. So it's like when I'm in Thailand, I'm helping to promote other cultures. But when I'm in other countries, I'm doing the job to promote Thai culture.
Thai culture.
Yes.
Okay, so we see here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like at the Esplanade also in Singapore.
In Singapore. So this
because
is
the past 2 years during the lockdown, I think the only country that I can fly to is Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Without
But before the lockdown, without the complication. But before the lockdown, I actually travel every month, a few trips a month, and in total I flew to 25 countries already.
Oh, wonderful.
To promote Thai cultures. Yeah, to promote Thai cultures and also like the cultures of other countries. Yeah.
Okay,
like
this is
heal the world. Yeah. The instruments that I use.
The instrument just playing, very beautiful. And this is us when we were also in one of your events.
Yes,
also
correct.
Very inspirational. So Phaputsorn, we practically reach almost the 30 minutes of our conversation so quickly. Yes. And, yes. And I'll be very happy if you can send a message to the society regarding inclusion, participation, and diversity.
Okay, for me, right? Okay, from my personal experience first, I think the world is already like cruel enough. So it's our job. Yeah, so it's our job to offer the kindness, the happiness, the understanding, and the peace to the others. Because if we only blame the world, things will never be better. The world will never be better. And don't start from the others, start from yourself. And this is what I'm doing. And I keep telling the students, don't expect the others to be what you want, but you do what you want the others to be for you, and you will get it in return. If not, but at least you'll get your own peace, you get your own happiness, and it will expand to the others. So do what you love and love what you do. That's also the important.
Also, what will you recommend to the creative sector regarding their administrative and management skills, because they're really lacking that kind of preparation?
Be confident and be unique. That's what I'm trying to tell everyone, especially in the arts, because sometimes they are very creative, but they are not confident to make it like independence, like make the business for themselves. So I think that's the poor side. So be confident, and also at the same time, be unique, because if it's only you in this world, the market won't go anywhere. They will come to you.
And I think you have practically discovered the key of self-realization. That is understanding who you are, how far you can go, and what you can add and contribute to others' life. And starting, like you say, from your personal space. So let's also send a message to the world regarding the power of love and family.
Wow, the power of love and family, right? I always need love, but probably you won't get it when you need it, right? So the only thing I do is like I give love to everyone and you will get it back. Yeah. So as I always said, don't only ask, but give it also. And yeah, you will get it back. And love in this kind is not only like the romantic love, but everything, like your parents, your family, your friends, your teachers, people around you, even like the job that you are doing. Because when you love everything or anyone, people can feel that, and they will give you in return. Yeah.
Thank you, Phaputsorn, because you have actually given so much love through your life and your personal experiences that you also are practically bright and feel that love and send it back. And like you say, it's a dynamic. And the more we do, and the more consciously we are about the power of creative spaces and creative people, the more opportunities and more doors that will open for all of us. Thank you so much for promoting unity and diversity. Okay,
You're welcome. Thank you very much also for like letting me to be part of your program. I'm very happy. Yeah.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
and see you soon, Phaputsorn. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.